When thinking of shows from Japan, you usually think of like Naruto, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't really think of any of the newer stuff like My Hero Academia. Yes, I know the shows that I mentioned prior to it are quite old, but there's also stuff that it has in common with. They're all animated shows that have thousands of pieces of merchandise, huge fan bases, and passionate creators. But at the same time, I don't really want to see a show like My Hero Academia. Every show has an issue, but only some shows make it so prominent. Yes, I could watch My Hero Academia, but here are some of the things that just kind of like bother me. There's transformations and character fights and a sense of togetherness, but it doesn't mean the show's really good about it. Characters don't need to be annoying, but most of them are. Some are poorly written, and others just make you want to stop watching. Some things that come to mind when I see character and location designs make me just upset, to be truthful. My Hero has a tough time standing up on its own, leading to it being drowned out by dozens of better shows. The fan base is upsetting, with several cringe TikToks being made fun of constantly. Some poor saps went into a theater and embarrassed themselves for a film release for this show, and I couldn't help but laugh. You can write characters in a way that isn't so displeasing or uninteresting, especially when they are all one note. This one is passionate, this one is mad, this one is a frog, etc. Most of what I see from this show from the outside looking in is a modern take on several of the tropes and animes that I grew up with. My Hero never shows any interesting qualities to me, with the show being recommended several times to the stern answer of no. Transformations are a neat addition to show a character's growth, but using superheroes means that they will all have transformations early in the story. Many stories have great methods of progressing throughout, but I can tell from My Hero Academia it's the same thing every time. In shows like Dragon Ball Z, characters tend to reach their limits before they earn a transformation. Goku does this with Super Saiyan, Gohan does this with Super Saiyan 2. In My Hero Academia, the main goal is to control an already unlocked transformation or mastering it. A lack of trial and error to reach this is an issue, because I want to see characters reach these forms first. Dragon Ball Z and later in Super have these issues, but at least then the transformations are interesting and advances the plot in some way. Character fights are supposed to evolve a character's emotions and interactions with the other character. In My Hero, from what I can figure out at least, none of these characters increase the value of their interaction. In some of the fights in a show like Naruto, the interactions can lead to learning strategies, and some others can lead to mutual respect between the opponents. Most of how I configure My Hero is a disappointing low-budget fight that leads to minimal payoff between characters. Togetherness is a simple thing to write, but there's not much to say about a group of superheroes that are all in the same class. In Bakugan, Digimon, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh!, most of the characters interact with each other in a generous way, and some characters being nervous with what happened to the others if they were to split up. From what I can tell from My Hero, these characters have no empathy or no knowledge of how to grow with one another. If one of the students in this show was kidnapped, no one would care. All in all, My Hero Academia relies on heavily powerful characters learning to master their powers in the wall of a school, which is a lot of tropes. I would rather watch a show where paint dries than a show already featuring powerful characters. It leads to a lot of boredom when I watch a show like that, and it's not really interesting. If this video reaches a fan of this franchise, here's my final statement. When making a show, give me a reason to care about your characters, or the show will feel very, very flat.